The next item is the review and consideration of curriculum requests, including the Keeping It Real with Your Doctor program, 6 through 12 math textbook adoption, and 9 through 12 English resources.
Greg has already informed me that I have to keep this short, so is there any questions? No.
Keeping it short is my budget presentations and
We'll talk about that later. Okay, we're going to start first, and I'm going to turn this over to Katie and Tony to talk about the Keeping It Real with your doctor's program, because they're the experts on that, so come on up. So if they don't keep it short, it's not my fault, Greg.
So I actually have an FAQ sheet that I'll just pass around. Info. There's actually 2 of them. So my name is Anthony Dobner. I'm a medical student from UW and a member of the Wisconsin Academy for Rural Medicine. And I'm on my primary care rotation right now, and one of my requirements is to do a community project. I have an interest in child and adolescent medicine, so I thought it'd be fun to do a project with the high school. As a medical student, I had an opportunity to participate in the Wisconsin Adolescent Healthcare Communication Projects program, Keeping It Real with Your Patients, which is geared towards medical care providers. They have teen educators come in and work with doctors and healthcare staff to better learn how to communicate with teen patients and talk about some of the healthcare issues that we feel less comfortable talking about, like contraception, teen pregnancy, domestic violence, sexual abuse, bullying, things like that. And these are things that our teen patients can feel uncomfortable talking with us about. They have a parallel program called Keeping It Real with Your Doctor, where the same teen educators will go into classrooms and talk with teens through games and skits and different presentations on how to better communicate with their healthcare providers. So we were thinking that we could introduce this program into the like Phy-Ed health class curriculum, maybe as more geared towards our juniors and seniors, kind of like as a booster shot of knowledge before we send them off to college or the workforce. And I'll give you a moment to look over some of the info, and we'll take any questions if anyone has any questions.
Need this program for adults too. They don't always know the questions to ask, or so I think that's great.
And maybe just explain again, it's going to be offered through the existing course, one of the existing courses. Now it won't be a separate additional course. It'll be just one segment.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the peer educators come to the classroom and then give kind of like we want to fit it into the 48-minute classroom period, so it would be like a one-day event structured into the regular Phy-Ed or health class for the juniors and seniors this spring.
Okay.
And we're kind of just thinking of like a one-time trial this spring, and if it's popular, we could, consider doing it again in the future if there's enough interest.
And there's a through this program, they provide sort of the framework for the whole program for teaching it, all the instruction. It's not, you don't sort of just create it on your own.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, the Wisconsin Adolescent Healthcare Communication Program is a spin-off of a national program of the same name, and there's like 160-page toolkit that I can send the board if anyone's interested in learning more about that. So,
I'm just going to add on to what you said. As a health teacher at the high school, oftentimes kids, as much as we want them communicating with their parents or asking me certain questions, there are people that are just not comfortable doing that. So I like the idea of kids going in and knowing how to talk to their physician, asking those questions, and knowing what is confidential and what is not. Many kids won't ask things because they're afraid their parents are going to find out. A result of that is we have people not getting the medical care that they need. And in some cases, it might be a teen pregnancy and they're not seeking prenatal care. And there's lots of different examples. The other idea is kids learn best from peers. And this is a group that comes in that will, like Tony said, use skits. I did look through the 160-page toolkit, and it is all laid out very, very well. And the resources that are listed in that toolkit, everything is, they have a website where they got their information, they had the training laid out for how they train their peer educators, the observation forms, little snippets of the skits that they would use. I felt all of it would be very appropriate, and I like this idea for our juniors and seniors. Like he said, kind of a booster as you go off into the real world. You have to advocate for your health. And if you're going in for a physical, you might as well make the most of that time. So when Tony brought this program to our school, I thought it was a great idea.
I would like to point out too that it aligns very well with our human growth and development policy. So our policy states that we need to be providing medically accurate and age-appropriate instruction on a whole lot of different topics, and it talks about the importance of teaching kids how to communicate, and that's a lot of what this is all about. So it falls in nicely with our curriculum and our policies.
If you're curious who we are targeting, we're going to use the Phy-Ed classes, and we're going to target the juniors and seniors, and we will work to do it within that 48-minute period. So these peer educators that will come will do the same presentation several times in a row.
Will that hit enough of the juniors and seniors for the Phy-Ed classes?
I don't know what the numbers are in the junior, senior Phy-Ed classes. With having so many snow days, to ask teachers to let us have those students for another 48 minutes, I don't think is going to go over very well. So kind of a get it off, just let's kick it off and hit who we can for now, and if it is a success and we get really good feedback from the kids, I would say we look at making this something that we bring in maybe twice a year, once each semester, if we're going to continue using the Phy-Ed classes for it, because those are semester courses.
The other option would be, since it is peer educators, if you do get a good response from students, if it could be even offered after hours, if you run a class for students that aren't in Phy-Ed, maybe a 0 hour from 7 to quarter to 8, or after school from 3 to 4.
That's a good idea.
I was just going to say, and you are sending parent?
We will, that was,
Okay.
yes, thank you. And I will send the letter home that gives them the option to not have their child participate.
And we do have the link, again, in our embedded, that if people want to see the program in action, this is a hyperlink, so if they go into the board minutes, open up this document, they can click on that, and that will show them the program in action in other schools.
And this was reviewed by the curriculum committee and comes with their recommendation, I take it?
Yes, yes.
We're looking for then formal approval.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the Keeping It Real with Your Doctor program as presented. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries, and so that program is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming.
The next item that I have on there is the middle school and high school textbooks for math. Our math departments have been working very hard this year to investigate the Common Core state standards and also to determine what resources they need to help students fully understand those standards. The middle school department narrowed down their textbooks to two different companies. One was by Houghton Mifflin, Big Ideas, and one also Glencoe Math. After meeting with the two textbook representatives from those companies, the middle school math department decided to go with the Glencoe Math. This is a series that has course 1 for 6th grade, course 2 for 7th grade, and course 3 for 8th grade. Some of the pros to this series are it's a soft cover book. And I know you're thinking, soft cover book, we have to purchase those every year. Are you nuts? We don't have to purchase those every year. The company gives us new books for the kids every year for 7 years of our cycle that we have. The nice thing about the soft cover books, they can write in them, they can make notes in them, they can do everything they want, and it becomes a living journal for them to use in each year of their math. The series was specifically written for the Common Core state standards, not written after and aligned to. Okay, so Glencoe McGraw-Hill is also the company that is developing the Smarter Balanced Assessment, so this would be directly in line with that, so it will help us hopefully do a little bit better on that. One of the big things that the middle school math teachers really liked about this was the differentiated instruction and the multiple versions of tests, worksheets, quizzes, and practice that was available in this resource. Far superior to Houghton Mifflin was the technology side of it, the online lessons, customizable assessments, interactive digital tools, and tutoring for students was available for this. So those are some of the benefits to this. Also, along with that, we are going to look at purchasing an accelerated pre-algebra for our accelerated 7th grade students. This is a hardcover book, not a softcover one. It's a hardcover book, has all the same benefits that the Glencoe Math 1, 2, and 3 has, and then students that are accelerated would then also go into high school algebra using the same textbook as the high school algebra. For the middle school, also, we're looking at purchasing Math Triumphs, and this would only be very few copies of this book, and that would be a level 3 RTI program for some of our special needs students. And it would be like for the lowest 5% of students, just to try to give them another dose of math to try to bring up their math levels. The high school department, and I do have Mr. Martinson here to elaborate on this and answer any questions. The high school is more narrowed into Glencoe McGraw-Hill for Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, and also pre-calculus. Some of the pros with this is that it is definitely aligned to the Common Core state standards. That differentiated instruction is an option there. The resources online are excellent, and once again, it has a superior technology resources. For AP Calculus, we have elected to go with Larson Calculus from Houghton Mifflin, just simply because that one aligns better with the AP standards we felt and would meet the needs. So embedded in the board packet was a price quote from both Glencoe McGraw-Hill and Houghton Mifflin. These purchases would be out of the 2012-13 budget. And yes, I've talked to Mr. Gorder about it, so we have this taken care of. At least we did last week. I don't know anymore. So if there's any questions, I have Mr. Martinson here to ask any questions about the process. And he's been involved in all, I think, 612 pretty much on this.
Mr. Martinson, anything you want to add to the discussion? Please feel free.
The only thing that I could add was, before we even started looking at textbooks, for the past 3-4 years, a number of high school math teachers have been looking at what we need to be teaching and putting units together. As soon as we got our units together, we opened up the textbooks as soon as we got them, Houghton Mifflin, and they almost matched exactly what we came up with. Just a couple smaller differences, so compared to what we've had in the past, this is the best thing that we've seen for a long time.
And that's a product of just
collaboration.
Collaboration, okay. Great. Glad it's working. Okay, thank you.
I don't know if you want to do this one, or you want me to go right on to English, or separate?
It would be appropriate to approve the math.
Okay.
Expenditures for math.
Okay, then I would look for a motion to approve the 6 through 12 math textbook adoption as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the math textbook adoption as presented. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries, and so the math textbooks are approved. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Martinson.
The high school English department has been also working hard to investigate the Common Core state standards and find out what resources they need to be able to have their students be successful on that. They've taken a little different route because they're looking not at buying a textbook, but buying a variety of resources, because with the Common Core state standards, it's really emphasizing close reading. And sometimes with close reading, you don't need to read a long passage, you need to read shorter passages and read them over and over for deeper and deeper understanding. So what the department has done is to look at what they're currently using, to see if they could continue using those, if they needed more copies of them, and then also what additional materials. You have a quote in there from Follett for a variety of books and resources that they feel they need to be able to be successful with the Common Core state standards. These books would not be purchased until after July 1 of this next year, because they will be coming out of next year's budget. Unless Mr. Gorder has money at the end of the year, we could purchase it earlier, but at this point they would be purchased after July 1, but they would have them come ready for fall. So, and I do have Drew Semmingson here if you'd like to ask him any questions. He told me that he didn't want to come up with me, but please ask him a few, would you? He has been the one that I have to defer to. He has really taken the lead and done an excellent job with our high school English department in leading the direction and getting them on track with the Common Core. So.
You're on.
Mr. Semmingson, you are obligated to speak now.
Now I got to say something. So, yeah, are there any questions about the our choice for resources as opposed to textbooks? There's a lot of books on there. We, in our course offerings, I'm sure you saw that before, but our new curriculum is offering many more courses as opposed to the way we had it pieced out before. We have year-long courses, but we also have flavors. You know, multicultural language or multicultural lit is one of our flavors, and modern lit and contemporary lit. So we had to choose a variety of resources to meet those requirements, which is why you see a ton of trade books on there.
So this isn't driven so much by the arrival of Common Core as just a change in sort of our approach to what we're going to teach?
Yes, with the Common Core, we decided the best way to make sure the students were achieving or receiving the Common Core was to do away with a lot of the semester-long lit courses and move to a straight year-long 9, 10, 11, 12 courses. That way, students could, in the past, take 2 years of English, or 9, 10 English, and get the literature and writing like they're supposed to, and then junior and senior year come along and they take only lit courses, and they don't get the speech elements, the elements of writing, the nonfiction reading that you would get, or that you're required to get in the Common Core state standards. So in moving towards this, we want us to still give students an option of courses, so they're not just saying you have to take 11 or 12. We want to give them the option of 11, but you've got the option of multicultural literature as our flavor, or I think it's contemporary lit as our flavor, or something like that. So just trying to vary it a little bit. And we're covering a lot of those resources with existing books that we've used in the past. So.
Okay. And again, this was sort of the product of just departmental collaboration?
Lots of collaboration.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, this department has gone above and beyond the normal collaboration time. They've met after school. They've had some other days that they've used also on top of the normal collaboration.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All right, thank you. I would look for a motion then to approve the 9 through 12 English resources as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 9 through 12 English resources as presented. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries, and so that those resources are approved. Thank you for coming, Mr. Semmingson. With that completes the curriculum requests, and